Now, our last complex of today, the U.S. presidential race. And, well, the news we have is once again about Ron Paul. And in particular, we have news about Ron Paul's presumably largest single financial backer. He is a guy called Peter Thiel, Thiel. Peter Thiel has given Ron Paul, or better yet, a super PAC supporting Ron Paul, which allows a contribution of this size. Peter Thiel, or Thiel, has given Ron Paul $900,000. So almost $1 million has gone to a super PAC called Endorse Liberty. Who is Peter Thiel? He is the founder of PayPal. He rakes off commissions on these PayPal payments. But most interesting for our purposes, he is a member of the Bilderberger Group, that group of wealthy reactionary elitists founded by Prince Bernhard of Holland and also Prince Philip of Great Britain. Peter Thiel is not only a member of the Bilderberger Group, he's a member of the Bilderberger Steering Committee. So he's not just a wealthy elitist of the ultra 1%. He is practically the 0.00001% that is represented by the Bilderberger Steering Committee. So he gives $1 million to Ron Paul. What are Peter Thiel's other activities? He has a foundation which encourages students to drop out of college. Isn't that great? This is obviously an attack on the family. Anybody who's been a parent, you know the sacrifices you make to put your kid into college, right, to get financial aid, to do the tests, to do all these other things. And then Peter Thiel comes along and says, oh, I'm a multimillionaire. You can do it too. You should drop out. And the kid drops out. Now, it's clear what this is. The reactionaries have always hated the GI Bill of Rights. They can't stand the idea that the middle class, the lower middle class, and even significant parts of the working class get to go to college. They want to make college what it was, say, in the 1920s, the exclusive preserve of the richest elitists, of the best families from which the mass of the U.S. population are excluded. So they're attempting to roll back the GI Bill of Rights on home ownership and also on college education. And you can hear reactionaries, all kinds, saying that, college education is not a good deal. We shouldn't allow it. There's too much money flowing into education. It's time to break that up. They regard this as a center of political opposition to their reactionary plans. And there's some truth to that, although the ideological problems of the colleges are in another or Malthusian direction or postmodernist direction. But the goal here, obviously, is to discredit the idea of a college education, right? To try to attack this and to show that it's cool to get a grant from Peter Thiel and drop out of college. The other thing this rich reactionary elitist Thiel does is, well, he's a Republican, and he's actually a gay activist inside the Republican Party, and he advocates what is known as seasteading. It's like this, if you know the Kevin Costner Waterworld movie, the Waterworld where there's no land, right? That post-apocalyptic future. I think with Peter Thiel, it's clear he wants to create sovereign entities that float, and he wants to therefore escape the laws of existing nation states to do what? Well, obviously speculation, right? There's no better way to be offshore than to be all the way offshore, and other nefarious activities. Just let your imagination work, and you can conclude what they are. So that's a very interesting one. We want to remember that Ron Paul, in his speech in 2001 in the floor of the House, has assured us there is nothing to fear from globalism, free trade, and a single world currency. Globalism, free trade, and a single world currency represent nothing to fear. Globalism, of course, Deregulation that brought you derivatives, privatization that brought you Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac as for-profit entities, deregulation, privatization, union busting, and of course the Paul dynasty interested in smashing unions everywhere they can with their right to work law. I'm very sorry to say that the right to work law, union busting law, more accurately, has now been passed in Indiana. So Indiana now joins the backward southern states with their low-wage economies and their lack of worker rights and other protections. So too bad for Indiana. We'll have to refight that one at the earliest opportunity. Deregulation, privatization, union busting, the destruction of a state sector, if you have one, the destruction of the social safety net, and we still do have one. That's globalism. So Ron Paul says, don't worry about any of that. That's all fine. Universal free trade is fine. No government, no state gets to influence what goes in and out of its own borders. And a single world currency, and that would be a commodity currency. It would be gold, right, which these gold fetishists believe is somehow the natural money. That is a different path to the New World Order, but it is equally destructive. In other words, it's clear that these Freemasonic forces have attempted to cover both the establishment route, which is the one you see with neocons and wars, and then there's the what can we say, the low-cost version with globalism enacted simply by law, free trade imposed everywhere, and this one world currency. It all comes from the Austrian school of von Mises and von Hayek. And we're reminded, various things popping up on the internet, it is the Rockefeller family, the arch reactionary finance capitalists par excellence, who funded Mises and others when they came to the United States. They supported them with research grants, got them jobs at the University of Chicago, which of course was founded by Rockefeller. So this entire Austrian construct is a Rockefeller special, and I don't know what would make that more explicit. That people who are prating about the need to implement the discredited and indeed hated doctrines of the Austrian school, that somehow this is the true American tradition. I'm sorry, I missed that. I don't see any discussion of the Austrian school